The biggest thing stopping your retail sales isn't actually your clients. No, it's the conversation that's happening inside your head, the team member's head. So it's the fear of hearing no, no, don't want it. You're worrying about the bill, and perhaps you're judging the clients if they'll spend the money or not. Sometimes you just forget. So in this chapter, we'll break down through all of those blockages, and then you can build a retail habit that will stick for good. If you'd like a physical copy of the book, yep, just click the link below. We'll sort that out too. Can't wait for you to listen. Chapter 22. This chapter is called Out of the Blocks and Beyond Your Blockages. So it's pretty simple, really. You have a look and it's got blockage number 1, number 2. So, yeah, it's a really very clear chapter. And I think it's a great way for you to share with your team because they're just frameworks to help you to see which one am I. So I think the thing that we probably muck up the most is that we don't understand how slow habits are to form and how easy they are to break or drop. So I've got this rule about habits. You can skip a day, not to. That's my rule. So at the moment I'm bouncing on a round bouncy thing because I don't really want to walk and boring and often it's very hot in Bali. So I can do that inside under the air conditioner in the pouring rain. That suits me. So you can put on YouTube and find any amount of jumping exercises. This morning I did 22-minute one for old people. It was not enough. But when I started, I could only do 10 minutes. So that's good. I did find one that was really good because it had the music of my generation. And I'm yet to find that one. It was a husband and wife team. I can't remember their name. So I will find that one again because that was the easiest one to do. So I think if you think about your habits, you just got to keep going. And if they were that easy, wouldn't anybody do them? They're not that easy. They're just easy to drop. So if you skip a day, that's fine. If you skip 2, you're actually forming a habit of not doing it. And I thought that was a really good way to think about it. I think that the other thing is if you were to imagine that the products were free, like imagine if you didn't know how much any of your services cost and you didn't know how any of your prices cost and you didn't touch it. So if people came in and they booked in for a whatever, and then you thought they could really use this. And if you knew that the price was not going to be an issue and you just got on with your job, that would be so freeing because most of us spend time thinking about can she afford it? What'd she pay last time? Excuse me, it's always yawning in the afternoon, but that's a human thing, isn't it? And so I just think you have to just let that go. You know, if you just did the same service every time with every person and you let go of the chatter in your head or the judgment and just thought, if I didn't know what anything cost, what would I do? It's a really interesting exercise. And I say the same when people are thinking about, I don't know, and I think they're struggling. And I say, okay, so what would you do if nobody was watching and nobody made a comment? Not a single person made a comment. Would you let that person go? Would you ask that client to not come back? Would you? And then it's a really different story. So what I'm testing you here to find out is, are you really caught up on the rejection or that someone might say no or think you're pushing in sales or whatever? Like if it was just like people say, you know, I say you could put the prices up at the moment in Australia, especially in Victoria, they're struggling, like they're really struggling. And so, you know, what's gone up a lot has been the work cover. And another struggle is the paying the superannuation weekly instead of monthly or annually, which is a reason because there's people who've left a workplace and realised that someone didn't pay their super for 2 years. And so that's really wrong. And unfortunately, that is problematic because why would you want to find that out later? So, and I always say that people get behind in their payment and expenses to the taxes and also their other expenses because they don't have to pay them frequently, and they postpone it, and they're using the money that should be paying for stock replacement, superannuation, all that, to pay wages. And so this is going to be uncomfortable for some, but it won't matter for others, because if your business is successful and you have the money there, then it's not a problem. Pay it weekly. The only thing is it's going to be another action that you have to do weekly rather than monthly or quarterly or annually. So yes, you'll get easier at it, and I don't know if you can automate it, but if you do something once a year, it takes a longer amount of time, but it's still only once a year. But if you did something every week, then that's going to take more time. And that's why some people pay once a month, because they do 12 payrolls a year. And if you pay weekly, you do 52. That's a lot, right? That's a big difference. So you could do fortnightly. Good luck with that. I find most people can't manage 7 days, never alone 2 weeks or above. But some people do that. And it's just more transactions. It's like if we were to direct debit a salon's pay weekly, that's one way to do it, but you can do it monthly. So monthly means that there's 12 direct debits coming out, not weekly, which is 52. Big difference, right? So I'm not telling you what you should do, but I'm wanting you to know that habits are formed when you do things consistently over time. That's it. And when you drop one, that's okay, because life gets in the way. Drop two, now we're getting a new habit. So hopefully that was helpful. Habits develop slowly and they disappear quickly, has been my experience. Chapter 22, Out of the Blocks and Beyond Your Blockages. If you really want to change, you need to focus on these critical areas or steps. 1, the intention to succeed. 2, a solid plan using my 10 times 10 times 10 strategy. 3, a look back at where you have failed before. If you've made it this far, I'm going to assume that you have the mindset you need to make change happen. If you want this bad enough, you'll really make it a reality. I've seen so many people succeed, and it's a pleasure to watch every single one of them. You're in charge of your day. If you're like me and want the best for your clients, you'll get a little uneasy. You'll embrace what's beyond your comfort zone, and you'll move step by step towards recommending retail products being just what you do. It's no different to putting a towel under a cutting wrap or asking someone to stand in a certain way so you can give them the best possible spray tan. As I say to everyone I coach, mentor, or present to, I'm not asking you for a kidney, people. I'm just asking you to put your emotion aside and consider the client in front of you. It's true. You've got your head in the right space. So what's your plan? Is it to put every product you use in front of the client and simply say, this is what I'm using on your hair today because, or this is the sunscreen I think you should be using because? Is it your plan that everybody leaves your salon with a product or a sample? This book is full of great ideas. Now it's your turn. Begin with the idea that feels right for you and your salon, and put your own spin on it. You have to own it. That means you have to adapt it to your version. Next, ask yourself where you're going to make a start and when. Set a date. Talk to your team. Work out what change you're happy to begin with and build your way up to add in every strategy. It's no different to learning any skill. You start with something simple, like a half-leg wax. No one starts with a Brazilian. You work your way up to that and gradually build the skill and the confidence to do the more complicated service. My tip is to be realistic. Set yourself and your team up to win and have some fun so you feel good. Then you'll be happy stepping it up a notch. Use the 10 by 10 by 10 as a guide. Focus on the first 10 days. That's 2 weeks. You're not counting the days you don't work. If you're part-time, it will take you longer, and that's okay. It'll be hard going at times. If you're using my every client, every time rule, you'll need to put in a big effort not to slip up. Here's the good news. The next 10 days will be the worst. Some days will feel unbearable, but you can't let yourself slip back into autopilot. Focus on what you're doing. Expect it to take time and to feel settled, as you would in any new job. The following 10 days, that's days 11 to 21, are going to be 100 times easier. Sure, you'll feel uncomfortable at times, but nothing like you did in those first 10 days. Then guess what? Most people think change takes 21 days, that you need 21 days to form a new habit, and I disagree. On day 21, you're out of the red zone, but you can't yet lock it in as your new way of doing things. The next 10 days, so day 21 to 30, are your critical lock this shit down stage. If you don't complete the full 10 by 10 by 10 program, your subconscious mind is still trying to tell you, this is way too hard. I had to use my brain. If you stick to it and complete the next 10 days of lock this shit down, you'll form a habit that will stick to you for good. I experienced this firsthand at yoga. I used to go to yoga 3 to 4 times a week. Even though I loved it, I hadn't thought about going more often. One day they put up a challenge at the yoga studio to go to yoga every day for 30 days. I love a challenge, so I stepped up and went every day. Some days I found it hard going to get there, but I'd made up my mind. I hadn't even considered that in the process of stepping up to the challenge, I was forming a new habit simply by sticking to it for 30 days. The first 10, absolutely unbearable. The next 10, they were uncomfortable. And the last 10 made me unstoppable. Now, if I don't go every day, I feel I'm missing out. Going every day has become my normal. That's what I want for you when it comes to your retail sales. That you do the 30 days of boot camp and that you never look back. How cool would it be to have your clients' needs met all the time? How good would it feel to be your product company's favourite salon? To get invited to VIP events? How good would life be when you always have enough money to pay your salon bills and to pay yourself a fabulous wage? To be paid what you're worth? I'd be delighted to get every salon out there out of Struggle Street. I've never met a salon with healthy retail that didn't have a fantastic loyal client base. It starts and ends with your client care. Where have you been going wrong? Now, let's put a spotlight on where you failed in the past. There are lessons to be learnt in your past. I'll take you through the most common blockages people have around sales. You can see yourself in some or all of them. Be honest with yourself here. The truth is your only way forward. Blockage number 1. You're scared of the word no. No one enjoys spending time and energy explaining to a client why they should invest in your idea only for them to say, no, I'm not interested. We'd all much rather hear, that's just what I need. Thank you. I'm so pleased you told me that. If you take your emotion out of it, you'll find it way easier. You have to think differently about the word no. Imagine you're doing a client's makeup and you ask if she likes eyeshadow in grey tones. She says no. I only like natural earthy brown colours. Would that offend you? If you suggest a client goes a lot shorter with her hairstyle and she says no, I like the length it is now, would you be offended? Well, I hope not. It's just someone's opinion. Retail is just exactly the same. You think your client would be better off going ahead with your suggestion, and that's what you think. Your client thinks she'd be better off not. That's it. Does that mean you stop making suggestions? Hell no. Sometimes your client takes your advice. Sometimes your client doesn't. It's not personal. It's just what it is. You need to get over your fear of no and put your energy into a yes. Then you can put that face on that I love. The one where you've asked your client if she'd like to take all 3 products you used on her hair today. And to your shock, she says, yes. You rush out the back to share your wins with your team. Oh my God, she's taking all 3. Then you run back out, get a bag, and take her money before she changes her mind. We've all done it. It's all part of the reward of a job well done. Blockage number 2. You're letting your glass ceiling show. Without even knowing it, most of us have a glass ceiling when it comes to money. Do you falter when you have to ask for a certain dollar figure for a client? For example, that's $236. Are you paying by card? Right there, that's your glass ceiling. It's clear that you can't actually see it, but it's there. When the account gets over 300, you panic a little. You look at the computer to see where you can pull it back under 300. Maybe just a $299? Sound familiar? Your glass ceiling might be 350 or 400. If you're really lucky, you don't have one, but most of us do, so be honest with yourself. What I know for sure is this: if your client is running up a bill that high, they must have spent the best part of a day with you. You might want to think about charging them rent as well. No one should ever be shocked when the account is high. If you've done your job and at the beginning asked if the client wants a price quote, you've covered yourself. Sometimes you've got your face so squished up against your glass ceiling, you decide to knock the final figure down to something more palatable, only to have your client say, "Is that all? I thought it was going to be heaps more." Clear proof that the glass ceiling I'm talking about is all in your head. The price you charge your client is what it is. Any retail component in the price is a necessary part of caring for your client between visits. If anything, it's a measure of your care factor. Think about that and charge fairly and correctly. Every client, every time. Blockage number 3. You judge people. Everyone judges others, and in general, there's not a problem with that, unless by judging them, you're cutting them short, making decisions for them even. We all look at the way people are dressed and maybe admire. We're judging that they have good taste, and we look at others who aren't to our liking and judge them in a way that's biased or unfair. We've all been guilty of this when it comes to recommending retail, haven't we? It comes back to treating everyone equally. Your client has made their way to your salon of their own free will, chosen your business because they're expecting a certain level of care. For you not to deliver on their expectations doesn't make sense. It's easy to judge older people as not having money because grey hair and wrinkles can often mean they're no longer earning an income. If you're making assumptions like that, you could be very wrong. My cool client, Marg, was in her late 70s. I remember her telling me that one of the things she particularly liked about our salon was that we didn't treat her like a senior. What a lovely compliment. Don't assume you have to offer a senior discount. We didn't have a senior price, and no one ever seemed to notice or question it. In my salon, we gave everyone a full service and charged them a full price. But I learnt it the hard way. I once lent an $85 hairpiece to a young girl for her debutante ball. I assumed that at her age she wouldn't have the money for the hair up and for the hairpiece, until she showed me the sparkling pins she just bought to put in her hair. The pins came with a $115 price tag. Turns out my $85 hairpiece was very affordable. Everyone finds the money for the things they see value in. Spend your time showing your clients the value. Some will see it, some won't. Their choice, not yours. Blockage number 4. You forgot. Often, I forgot is nothing more than a bullshit excuse. See Chapter 5. But sometimes you genuinely forget. The kicker is this. If you don't have a system in place, you are always going to be pushed to remember to recommend retail. Create a system that builds retail into your every time, everyday client care, and you'll never forget. I'm a visual person, so I need to see my cues. I always started with the shampoo and conditioner. I placed them on the bench in front of my clients and I simply said, this is what I used on you today. That was it. Then every product I used in their hair, I explained what I used and why. I showed them how much to use and where to place it in their hair and why. For every product, I grabbed an unopened one from the product shelf and I put it in front of them. It took some time for me to lock it down as my every client, every time routine. To this day, when I'm shampooing my 89-year-old mother's hair over the kitchen sink, I look at the shampoo bottle and I say, Mum, this is what I'm using on your hair today because I do the same for Muriel, my dog, when I'm washing her. Muriel, I'm using flea shampoo on you today because best I don't mix those 2 bottles up, hey? It's now in my DNA. Now it just is what it is. There's no chatter in my head telling me not to forget. There's nothing. It's a very good place to be. Now I can just get on with the creative side, the fun side, the side I joined this mad industry for the first place. Kick-ass Kickstarter. Decide where you'll start. What is the one idea of dozens I've shared in this book? What resonates with you? Begin with that idea, the one that feels right to you and your salon, and get out of the blocks.